What's up guys, my name is Zero Heroes and welcome back to more Gates of Hell. Yes, it's finally good to be back. I have my PC working as normal just now. Apparently it was down to AVG, you know, the software that kind of protects you against viruses, and OBS apparently, which didn't quite collide together. So they've deleted AVG off my computer and hopefully now it will stop crashing and stop ramping up the fans, and hopefully we'll keep it going. So this will be, again, hopefully the start of kind of getting into recording again and getting as much update as news for you guys as much as possible for Call to Arms and also the new Call to Arms Panzer Elite. So stay tuned for that. And I know the gameplay is coming very, very soon. I can't make any promise it'll be tomorrow because I don't trust my computer quite yet to run anything, so I'm hoping it will maybe be Sunday, or say Monday or Tuesday even, but I'm hoping if it runs well, then I'll try and get it out tomorrow. But I hope in the meantime, guys, we are going to be looking at the Update 60 open beta. Now, this was talked about in my previous video, or the video before that, which was all about the update of Update 60 and how the reverse feature is one of the main features that I was most looking forward to. And this is what they're kind of announcing today as part of kind of this updated version of Update 60. So if you guys like to see all the news up to date for Gates of Hell and Panzer Elite, then make sure you subscribe, hit that like button. Without further ado, let's just get straight into it. So the first thing, community members. As announced earlier, we will have an open beta for the game version at 1.055.0 starting today. So this was actually came out, this article came out September the 26th, and as of recording, that came out yesterday, but I know it'll be uploaded on the 28th, so that means it'll be 2 days ago. But what that means is for you guys is that make sure you turn your version of Gates of Hell to the open beta to make sure you kind of get access to that next to the version 1.055, or just for my tip is just keep the game constantly on open beta. So that means if there is an open beta, then you don't have to keep switching between versions the whole time. So that is a wee tip. But basically the summary of this kind of Update 60 is that there was a new multiplayer memory optimization and reduction of loading time. So I believe that included when you're kind of doing a multiplayer kind of game, and you know, something, as you know, they've kind of mentioned about desyncs before, but that wasn't a different update. But now it's just the introduction of loading times, which means that hopefully you don't need to wait ages and ages to get in a game and wait on other players so they can load in as well. So hopefully now it will be all loaded in, or you'll all be loaded in quicker, and you can get into battle so much better, as well as the optimization. There'll be new animations, and I believe that was for soldiers that kind of like are walking or running, so that means they kind of, or when they stand still, you know, currently or in the previous version they just kind of stood there, smoked a cigar or smoked a cigarette and threw it out, or they kind of just kind of use kind of hand movements. But now there's a whole new animations for, I think, just standing still for soldiers and running and walking, which I will show maybe in a separate video. And of course the main feature of this update was the reverse feature for better vehicles control. So that included, as you know, when vehicles reversed, or when you tried to make them reverse during a fight, they would always turn around, showing their kind of their vulnerability of a weak spot, you know, in the rear or the back, and basically your vehicles would be easy targets for AT guns or other bazookas or tanks, and you just lose your tank. So now when you back up, the frontal armor will still be facing the front as you reverse. So that means you are not wasting valuable resources and units when you are backing up to get to safety. They've got customization skins for Conquest. So that is, I believe, when you do play Conquest, you know, the big screen at the bottom which shows you all kind of the units, you know, it shows you like when you load up a tank, shows you like the 4 crews. You can now actually customize the skins for that, I believe. So that will be hopefully in a separate video as well. You got numerous bug fixes and then numerous balancing tweaks, which will be mentioned later on. So we have described some of the highlights of this update in more detail in our previous Devblog 160. So if you haven't checked that out, I will leave a link down below, as I did a full description of Devblog 160, and I'll put it in the right hand screen right here. But if you want to have a look at that, then you can for yourself. But the main feature they want to kind of talk about in this article is a reverse feature. So on Devblog's 160, we mentioned that we are working on a reverse lock feature for vehicles, but didn't know if it would make it in time for the update. We think it's stable enough to test, so we've included it. With this feature, you will now be able to make a vehicle be locked in reverse motion, which is good for an armored retreat to always face the enemy with the thickest frontal armor. So that's what I was just talking about there. When you are retreating, you know, the thickest armor will be frontally. But see, when it says kind of in locked, will be locked in reverse motion, does that mean your whole vehicle's locked so you can't like turn your turret or anything? You know, you can't fire a gun. So what I get from that is that basically when you're going reverse mode is now your turret cannot turn like 360, so it can't like turn to left, can't turn to right, can't do a full 360. It's just locked in position when reversing. If this is true, this is quite annoying, because I understand that you don't want to make it completely overpowered with the reversing feature, you know, but I think there still should be a bit maybe of when doing reverse speed is that our reverse feature, you should still be able to have access to fully rotate your turret and still fire, as you know that the only job of reversing is the driver. Of course, the commander needs to kind of maybe see out the back to make sure he is reversing into the right places, but as you know, you have like 4 or 5 different crew in the tank, so the driver's job would be to reverse, whereas you have one gunner or one crew using the turret and the other crew, you know, using the gun. So I feel like if it's locked in position, it doesn't make it that quite realistic, but I still understand you don't want to make the reverse feature completely kind of overpowered. They've also given the ability to see if you're for a given location, so the unit will want to go forward or in reverse. It allows you to predict the way your unit will face, thus preventing any nasty surprises. A similar quality of life improvement was also implemented much earlier by our competitor colleagues. Credit where credit is due, which is true, because at least they're actually, even though they're admitting that, you know, there is competition out there, they're still giving where credit's due. So big props to Barbedwire Studios for kind of being open-minded like that. But yeah, that is actually quite an interesting feature. So the ability to see if for a given location the unit will want to go forward or in reverse, and it allows you to predict the way your unit will face, thus preventing any nasty. That's quite good. So I guess it kind of gives you a choice of when or how you want to reverse it, or which direction you want to go when you are reversing or going forward. So that means you are kind of reversing, then as you know, when you do reverse, you know, the game or the unit might just go reverse, but maybe reverse backwards or reverse right, or go forward when you tell it to go back. So now there won't be any nasty surprises, as far as I'm aware of this, what this is the meaning of. And of course, lastly, about opting in. So to join the beta, you only need to switch your game to the beta version. Later, when the beta becomes the live version, you don't need to do anything at all to reverse process. If you want to participate, go to your Steam library, click right on the game and select Properties, Betas, Open Beta. You can switch back to the current version at any time using the same process. That's it for now. Enjoy the update. Which change do you like the best? Let us know in the comments. Yeah, I agree. Let me know out of this whole development which one is your favorite. Personally, for me, it has to be the reverse feature. This has to be the most crucial and the most important feature in this game, and I'm sure it's a lot of the community members have been wanting it, including myself. So there you go, guys. That is kind of an update for you on update 60 and what they're kind of choosing to bring in, or they were kind of a wee bit suspicious or not fully confident in bringing this in, their first feature, but it seems to be that they feel more confident and they feel well enough that they can bring it in, and I'll be testing that out. So make sure you keep an eye out at that as well for in my channel, and click the notification bell as well. But other than that, guys, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching and all your support, and I will see you in the next video. And stay tuned, as well as finally the Panzer Elite gameplay will be coming out very shortly, so stay tuned.